How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Halloween Kills from 2021. This is the direct sequel to the Blumhouse Halloween from 2018, and in turn you have a lot of the crew sticking around from that movie. Directed by David Gordon Green, stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, and Andi Matichak. Also Will Patton. This is produced by several people, some of the notable ones that I saw. Jason Blum, because obviously Blumhouse, right? John Carpenter, he was absent from a lot of the series after Part 3, came back for Halloween 2018, and is sticking around here. Both him and his son are on the composing team, and it's really cool to see him and his son crank out some cool, more new music for this series. Doesn't get talked about enough, but Halloween and Halloween Kills both have really good soundtracks, reminiscent of the old one, but new, you know? Also, Jamie Lee Curtis is still an executive producer. Good to see her keeping that upgrade. And Malek Akkad, who I'm guessing has to be the son of Mustafa Akkad, who was responsible for getting more sequels after Halloween 3, longtime Halloween producer. Good to see it staying in the family there. Anyway, this is one of those movies I'd been looking forward to for a long time. Big Halloween nerd, loved the franchise, and this had experienced delays, obviously because of the pandemic, but especially with Halloween. If you miss the October release date, you really kind of have to release these during October, and if you miss that, you gotta wait a whole nother year. So, glad that they were finally able to get this thing out there. Glad that we were finally able to see it. And this is one of those movies that I was really excited for. I walked in the theater, I had fun, I came out of there, Michael Myers killed a whole bunch of people, woo! And I thought it was really cool. And then you go on the internet, you talk to some people, they're like, what are you crazy? That movie sucked. And I don't know. And this happened to me a few times before. Like, I really liked Annabelle Comes Home. That was a great haunted house movie. I really liked The Strangers Prey at Night, a great slasher in a big, giant trailer park. I really liked some of these movies. I come out of the theater thinking, oh boy, that was fun. And then I come home and critics are all trashing them on the internet. Obviously, I'm not going to be joining that dog pile. Maybe I'm just running some sort of, first viewing high, just really glad to see the franchise back. I don't know. I might, next year on Halloween, this will be out on Blu-ray, maybe I'll give it a rewatch and see if in a year, if I still feel like this is a good movie. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I might do that. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. Now, if you guys didn't, that's okay. You can have your own opinion. And if you want to have a civil, emphasis on civil, debate in the comments, some people are really fighting on this movie, and I think we can talk about it. But I did like it, and, that's what I'm gonna say, is I had a ton of fun with this movie. There's a whole lot to like here. There's tons of kills, probably the most Michael Myers has ever killed in a single movie. Lots of good R-rated gore, crazy over-the-top moments, some really, really cool sequences, and also a ton of nerdy references, There's characters from other movies, you're like, ah, cool, Tommy, Linda, Lonnie, Nurse Chambers is here. There's even, a sequence at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, and they keep the HMH logo, which, granted Halloween 2 is no longer canon, but I would imagine that Laurie Strode still spent some time there after Halloween 1 in this new continuity. So, you get things from the non-canon movie still creeping their way in as a cool Easter egg. I mean, like the Silver Shamrock mask are still there, even though the world didn't get that crazy magic thing. So yeah, I do really like all these nerdy references, and, you also get, like, the doctor and nurse couple who are just ever so briefly in the first one. They show up here as much more major players, and it really starts to feel like Trick or Treat, where, you don't know what's going to be important and oh, hey, that was set up earlier, and it's all connected, you know? The Easter eggs, you know, it's not just a big Easter egg hunt. They make the town feel more fleshed out and real. They make the night seem more real. I really like that. Now, a few things. This definitely benefits from rewatching like I did. I rewatched Halloween 2018 right before I saw this. And you get to see things like, Lonnie Jr., whatever his name is, Andi Matichak's ex-boyfriend, he's still in his Bonnie costume from the Halloween party, you know? And just seeing little continuity, it helps, I think. You know, you don't have to do a 2018 rewatch, but I think it would definitely help. But the other thing you do need to remember is this is part 2 of 3, so things like the epic death battle between Laurie and Michaels, that's part 3. That's going to happen later. And, you know, there are some people like, I wanted more of a conclusion. I think this will play better when you have all 3 movies and you can watch them all back to back to back. So bear that in mind, that there are going to be some elements that are left out because this is part 2. Now let's go ahead and talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points, and I want you guys to make sure you have a basic understanding as to what the story is about. But that being said, newer movies and bigger franchises, I get a lot of people want to go in blind. So if you want to go in blind, I would say, you know, if you're a horror geek, if you're a Halloween geek, you'll probably like this. If you're a stuffy critic, maybe you won't. But that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the plot, more than, you know, some people just dance around everything. I will talk about setup, but I'll try to avoid the payoff section, you know. Anyway, we open up with Andi Matichak's ex-boyfriend, Lonnie's son, and he discovers Sheriff Hawkins' body, and he actually is able to save him. So that's really cool to bring this character back, and when they do that, they have a flashback to Halloween 1978. And this is one of those scenes that I really felt was missing in the first movie. Glad to see it here, and I guess bringing Hawkins back, this is a good place to put this scene. And it was one of those things, you know, in the first movie, they're like, oh yeah, we stopped him after part 1, and you're like, well, what? But how? You know, and you actually get to see it here, and to see the night that they stopped Michael Myers, to see it in cinematography that really does a good job of replicating the original Halloween cinematography, that was really cool. 1978 film style. You also get a few shots of Sam Loomis, and it's, to be honest, it was done so well that I thought they found like some deleted scene and had cut him out or something, you know? It's done really well. Turns out it was just a really killer makeup job. Like, that was impressive, you know, where you get people going, is this a deleted scene? Is this some crazy computer trickery? No, it's just really good makeup. And hey, if we're doing Sam Loomis that good, can we finally get the in-between movie that connects Psycho and Halloween? I would love to see that, but that's a side rant. But anyway, this is really good for Halloween fans to see this scene. I was so glad to see it in here. It's the nerdy fan service this movie does really well. After that, you get the firefighter scene. And in this scene alone, Michael Myers kills 11 firefighters. So, crazy over-the-top kill scene. I remember after watching the Blumhouse Halloween having all these theories like how Michael Myers is going to survive. Well, he kind of hides in a closet down there and waits for the firemen to save him, you know. So, yeah, it's a lot easier than we thought. But he gets a fireman's pickaxe and he really goes to town. This movie has some really incredible sequences, and this is definitely one of them. After that, though, the bar scene, and this is a pretty nerdy scene, but it's a bar, it's a talent show, it's Halloween, and Tommy Doyle, the little boy from part 1, goes up and gives a speech about, you know, the first movie and how we really need to honor the people who died. And you look around in the crowd, you know, Lonnie's there, he's hosting this thing, Tommy Doyle's on stage, you also get Linda's there, and freaking Nurse Chambers from the first movie. that's really, really cool to see all these old characters. And, you know, you get little moments like, you know, Lonnie going, Tommy Doyle, I used to bully this kid back in the day. And I do like that relationship changing, you know, obviously they're grown-ups, they're not going to bully each other anymore. But to see these two characters have become friends over the years, you know, just growing up in the same small town and getting to see them become, you know, realistic adults, you know, it's like, it's a really cool reinvention of, you know, these characters and what they would be doing now. And, you know, nerds, we love stuff like this, right? So you get to see all these new characters, and then they turn on the news and find out about Michael Myers getting out. You do also get a cameo of the kid who was being babysit last time. Really love that character in the first movie. Good bits of humor. Good to see a little cameo of him there on the news. But anyway, they find out Michael Myers is back. They're all angry. Someone goes out to the parking lot and says that they think they see them in one of the cars. So they know that Michael Myers is outside. They form an angry mob and say, "Evil ends tonight," and go after him. Now, after that, we have the hospital stuff. Haddonfield Memorial Hospital is back. Laurie Strode's been stabbed. She has to do surgery, but she's fine. But so they put her in a hospital room. They actually later put Hawkins in that same hospital room, and the two have a good back and forth. The mom wants the daughter to stay. She's going to stay and watch over the mom. But the daughter is approached by her ex-boyfriend, says, hey, we're going to go kill Michael Myers. Want to join our angry mob? And she goes out to fight on her own, making her own decision to do this. And I really feel that, you know, this is where we get to know the character better. This is where we get to really understand her. In the first movie, she was doing prom stuff, you know, and then she just kind of got drug into this and had to run around. In this movie, you get to see her making the more conscious choice to fight Michael Myers. And I feel like we really get to know Andi Matichak's character a lot better in this movie, and she's much more defined, and I did like that, especially because she's probably going to be a pretty big character in Part 3, so it's cool to see that there as well. Now, it's with this section that we have to talk a bit about the stuff people are complaining about with this movie, flaws. First and foremost, Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hospital most of this movie. She gets up and walks around a little bit, but not much. Now, this is one of those things like, yes, I would love to see Jamie Lee Curtis. At the same time, I know she's an older woman who was literally just stabbed by Michael Myers. I would love to see more of her, but yeah, she's not gonna realistically be getting out of that hospital bed too much. Obviously, also, you have to save the epic battle for Part 3, right? So, it's one of those things I get wanting her out more, but I totally see why she's not. Also, the angry mob, let's go ahead and talk about that. The mob, it's one of the things where, you know, Halloween is doing something a little deeper than it normally does. Now, we had seen angry mobs twice before, at least. In Halloween Part 2, an angry mob destroys the Michael Myers house, and in Halloween Part 4, a drunk mob goes on the hunt for Michael Myers. And here they give this story element the chance to breathe, and they get a chance to talk about it a lot more. So these ideas are explored deeper here, and it really goes for the idea that, hey, ending Michael Myers' reign of terror is a good thing. It's a noble goal, it's something you should want, but here it talks about how blind and mad pursuit of even a good goal can create more monsters, and it ultimately leads to Michael Myers' biggest and most epic kill, destroying Haddonfield itself. And I thought that was a really good idea, but some people really hated this plot element, especially because a lot of people in the mob are like really terrible shots and stuff. But I get, you know, what they're trying to say is that Michael Myers' damage extends beyond just what he does, and the fact that he's destroying the town's psyche itself, I thought that was really interesting and a new thing, you know? But yeah, this is one of the things a lot of people hate, especially because not everybody in the mob is a really good shot. But also, let's go ahead and talk about the kills. This movie, like I said, with the fire scene alone, has more Michael Myers kills than most other movies. This is probably his biggest body count, probably the biggest kill count in the whole series, barring Season of the Witch and what may have happened at the end there. But yeah, this is crazy. This is tons of just rated R Michael Myers gore, stabbing people, and just blood shooting out of their head. A really cool scene where he breaks open a fluorescent light and stabs this lady in the neck, and you see the blood run all down it. You know, cool stuff. And sometimes the side characters are a little meandering, you know. You get someone smoking marijuana and talking about bees making honey, you know. So there are a few little moments that are a little meandering, but overall they're pretty cool. But like a good kill to talk about, there's this one scene. Michael Myers kills someone, and he's pretty much dead, but not quite dead yet. So he puts them on the kitchen island, and he goes to their knife rack, and he takes every single knife on their knife rack and stabs this guy in the back, except for the last one, which he needs for later. And it's one of those scenes that's like, it's cool. Michael Myers is stabbing this guy with every single knife they own. But at the same time, what's Michael Myers really doing here? I don't know what he's doing. He's like just stabbing this guy, turning him into a pincushion. I don't know. Maybe he was looking for the best knife? I don't know. So it's cool, but there are a few kills that are a little meandering, but it does lead to good gore, and there is way more of them. But also because we sacrifice so much of the B-plot to this mob, it does eat away at the stalking sequences. So it's not, you know, so much that whole, where's Michael Myers, how are we going to survive, or at least not till the end when it allows it to breathe more again. It kind of just turns into Michael Myers, the unstoppable killing machine. But that's still pretty cool, but the slower stalking sequences are cut down a little bit until you get to the end, when you get to the finale, which is at a pretty cool location, although I won't spoil it. But yeah, you know, less stalking, but still a ton of kills, tons of R-rated gore. I liked it. But anyway, personally, I did like it. Now, I guess it's just the angry mob getting people upset. I guess they just thought this movie was a little senseless. I don't know. I like Terrifier, okay? Senseless violence, whatever. But overall, I like this movie. I understand why people hate it. And I don't know if I'll still like this, you know, a year from now. I don't know how well this will hold up on repeated viewing. But me being just a dumb little Halloween geek, going in, seeing blood and explosions all over the screen, I liked it. Maybe it won't hold up, maybe. But as a solid middle entry, you know, you have part 1, you have to have part 2. The big epic stuff, the Laurie Strode Michael Myers showdown, that's going to be in part 3. So I am curious how this movie will change when you have the other pieces on either side of it, you know? And I think it will be different when viewed as a complete trilogy. But overall, I like this. Maybe I'm just a nerd. Maybe this movie is just for nerds. I don't know. But I thought this movie was pretty fun. And I can't wait till Halloween ends. That should be cool as well. But anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You're really helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. This will probably be my 2021 movies playlist. So if you guys want to see what I thought of other movies that recently came out, Spiral, Conjuring 3, Quiet Place 2, those will all be in that playlist there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.